Hello everyone and welcome back to the quarterfinals where my voice gets more and more dry as time goes on. Coming to you again here with the match from Kharak Cup number 8, of course. It's going to be between Sparrow and KissLand. Playing on the wrong map, but that's okay, I guess. We post like the maps that are available in the map pool in the rules section of the tournament, so I wish people would kind of read that a bit more often, but that's kind of alright. Something I've noticed with Sparrow, it might always just, of course, be like a language barrier too. He's from Korea after all, but I think I can tell you how this match is gonna go. I think I can tell you how this match is gonna go. I don't want to be too pessimistic about it, but I mean, this is, you know, one of those legends of Deserts of Kharak that, like, we know exactly what he's gonna do, and we know he's gonna win when he does it. You know what I mean? And KissLand is not that bad either, but he's pretty new. So I think this Kharak just kind of gonna wipe him out here, to be honest. But it's always fun to watch, I suppose. And we'll see, you know, what KissLand can do about it. Maybe he can make a good show of it. And this, I think, is not a bad way to start. Because Sparrow has shown he has some weakness, you know, responding to this kind of blast drone cheese before. So that could work out pretty well for him. We'll just have to see. Sparrow really pushing it pretty far with, like, the hitbox on that carrier. But he seems to have it perfectly set up where these salvagers don't have to move to drop off their resources. Second production cruiser on the way. So it looks like his build is to make 4 salvagers, then go to the production cruiser, and the first 2 on this one go into the CUs, which is pretty interesting. I was doing some testing with Mazarin to try and figure out, like, the the best time to, like, make the support cruiser to do, like, a rail rush, and I found you could get the railguns out in, like, what was that? I think it was, like, at the 2-minute mark, which is very, very early. But I wasn't sure if that was really good, because when you're doing a rail rush, it's actually the sand skimmers that really, you know, carry the rush for you, so. And this, yeah, it also means he can get fleet capacity before he leaves. And you gotta also remember, you know, this is a 4-player map. It's not in the rotation, but it used to be. And like I said, they really shouldn't be playing this one, but it's alright. On these kinds of 4-player maps, you want to take advantage of the fact that the second base has tons of CUs and it's, like, right next to you. So he's almost certainly going to be doing that. We can see Sandskimmer armor coming out before railguns. That tells me a lot. That tells me a lot about, you know, like, the way he's kind of viewing how this is going to go. Last salvager for that second location going to be made from the carrier right now as the 2 production cruisers move out across the field. And they're going to run into these blast drones, but better now than later. After all, these guys are incredibly bunched up. And if the 2 blast drones, and indeed there are 4 here, just kind of run in there. No, don't. No, no. It's a sad day. Look at this. Oh, I know I have endlifts on, but you get the idea. These guys are very close to each other. And the blast drone there didn't even get to detonate, really, but it wouldn't have done anything. Oh, that's a little depressing. Anyhow, what is KissLand going for exactly? Look at the resources here. He's got quite a couple CUs. He can go for refinery mode early. But that's probably going to result in him being killed, to be honest. I think when you notice the double production cruiser, you got to make 2 of your own. I think that's really, like, the more I've looked at it, that's kind of the way that you have to deal with this kind of stuff. Assault ship fabrication. Alright, that's an interesting choice there. I think he's going to have trouble with railguns when he does that, but maybe he can make it work, you know, maybe he can make it work. After all, like I said, it's really the sand skimmers that carry a railgun push. A railgun rush, that is. And, you know, assault ships are very good for fending these guys off, so. Also getting power reserves up, I don't think that's a bad move. I think that's pretty good. If you can be good with those cruise missiles, and if you can have the close combat weapons on so that they can't just close the distance on you, that's always very, very nice. I do tend to think it has a bit less of an impact as when you're playing as Con F to have power 1, but still going to be good for him. And Sparrow making a 3rd production cruiser, holy goodness. And he's got enough money to go for, is he going to go for refinery mode? I think he might. Wow, that would be really interesting because we've never really seen him do anything. Oh, whoa, KissLand, whoa, what are you doing here? Maybe he didn't get the idea of what was happening just yet. His Sandskim is very much out of position over there. And some salvager's going to be hemorrhaged here for sure. Cruise missile could be attempted, but it's going to be difficult at best. And Sparrow this time going for assault. Sparrow, You're from Korea. You're not allowed to do this. It's just, you know, when you see someone do that in StarCraft 2, your first thought is like, oh, noob, right? But that's so funny. Because, like, by the time these guys are like, he really could go for refinery mode right now, because by the time these guys are finished, he'll have the money for it. What in the heck, man? I don't even know what he's doing here. Maybe he's just having fun. Power Reserve 2 going to come out for KissLand now. That, I think, is a little bit too far. But he's not going to get pushed on this side, which is pretty lucky for him. Double Extraction going to come down from Sparrow 2. I just have no idea what he's doing, because he's like the guy who rushes, you know what I mean? But here he's not really rushing. He's doing something weird, I would say, but he's not rushing. And I gotta say, I really like the idea of like early refinery mode on the back of a 2 production cruiser rush, because then your economy is more powerful too, and that's something you can really only pull off on this kind of, you know, 4-player map. But that's not the idea, I guess. In which case, I sort of wonder what is the idea. But I will say this though, mass AR is like really, really dangerous, because you can see, you know, how much damage they're taking to these strike craft, like none, right? And they can kill them so quickly too. I think he's gonna lose like maybe 2 here, maybe. And once again, I would, you know, queue up refinery mode right now. I would be like, yeah, you know, let's go for it. Uh-oh. And Sparrow also knows exactly where his opponent's army has. He has 3 times the production of him right now. And KissLand is going for, no, Sparrow is going for interceptor fabrication. Oh, wow. I've seen him go bombers before and be very, very effective with it, but I've never seen this build from him, I gotta say. You know what I mean? He's kind of normally what I would say is like the definition of a one-trick pony, but one that actually works out because he's just so good at it that he wins every time, you know what I mean? But, you know, maybe he's trying to throw off that image of him. This is definitely something different. Because normally when we say one-trick pony, we think of, you know, that's a pretty negative term. Like, yeah, there's only one thing that you know how to do and you just do it every time, right? The funny thing with Sparrow is that normally you'd say, and you're going to get counter-stratted so hard and it's never going to work, but it's like, no, he wins every time, you know, like... So he's the one-trick pony that can pull it off, but he's doing something very different right here. I'm not sure if he even knows what it is. I probably rambled on about this a little bit too long, so I'll just kind of shut up and let the game get played here. But I'd love to see him... Yep, there you go. Go for precision bombers. Peanut bombers. And 1 interceptor also on the queue, so he does want to make some of those. And he's going to play a bit more eco than we've seen him play in times past. This is definitely a little bit new. Look at his sick assault railguns moving in there. And honestly, assault railguns can kill a Conf carrier because it's like weak sauce. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. You need kind of a lot of them to pull that off. But salvagers here definitely in danger if these things would actually shoot. Just like last game, man. Yeah, there you go. A lot of salvager kills going down right here. Is there a counterattack? Yeah, actually there is. I was gonna say kind of, but no, that's more than kind of. Those are actually definitely in good position. And the production cruiser is pushing down with some assault ships too. So Sparrow's going to need something at home to deal with it, but he's got, you know, like 4 production slots that are all quite effective against this thing, so I think that should be okay for him. And all but 1 of the salvagers gets massacred over there. Almost no survivors at all. That's really rough. And I don't really know what KissLand like hopes to do about this. Sparrow moving back in with his wing of sand skimmers. The assault ships are in an excellent position to cut them off. But like the damage that KissLand does would have to be like legendary in order to hold this off, you know. And this is like, make no mistake, this is very, very bad. And I think assault railguns ought to just go back in and do it again. They didn't really lose much last time, and they took off, you know, what'd that be, like about 17% of his opponent's carrier's health actually. But it is true, you know, salvager's beginning to get killed over here. So I think he should launch the air. I mean, doesn't that make sense? There's not really anything to stop him. Maybe he's worried that production cruiser's chilling out, like right there. Which could be true. Here comes the precision bomber, the peanut bomber. I call it that because I can't remember if it was Bob or if it was like Roby or someone like that, but they were talking about like precision bombers and they kept calling them P bombers. So I was like, yeah, peanut bombers, right? Anyway, KissLand gonna kind of get scared off by these sand skimmers. He's gonna leave the main to come back and deal with it, which on paper doesn't sound so bad, but he needs to be doing like mega damage right now, because he's a little bit behind, as perhaps you can tell. Ooh, excuse me. I yawned. Sparrow could launch the interceptors and the bomber and kill off this production cruiser. That'd be pretty nice to see. Oh, where are you going, Sparrow? Yeah, like, can you see how much damage this carrier is actually taking? The reason is because once you're below 24 armor, these things actually do 50. Oh, I didn't know that. Alright, so once you're below 50 armor, these things do like extra damage essentially, right? Because they don't take as much to armor. So like the Coalition carrier at 0 power, yeah, I can take damage from assault railguns, but normally you're gonna power it up in that scenario. But the Galzian carrier, for example, starts out with a a default of 40 armor. It doesn't take damage from assault railguns. It just doesn't, you know what I mean? But this one's only got 20. It's rather weak. So assault railguns can actually be threatening to a Connev carrier, which just seems wrong somehow. But because these things are kind of like the railguns that do anti-light vehicle stuff, right? But this is a little bit heavy, perhaps. Then again, it is like floating twice as high as all the other carriers. Maybe they've actually got tons of helium in it or something, but it just seems so weird to me that, like, assault railguns should actually be dangerous to a Connev carrier, but they can be. If you mass them up enough, they really can be. Here comes a number of sand skimmers. Numbers should be about even here, I think. Yep, 11 to 11, but Sparrow, that's high ground? Are you sure? But he's also got the upgrade lead here, doesn't he? 2 armor to no armor, yeah, so that should be a fight that he takes. Here come the assault ships though, but Sparrow's gonna see it, he's gonna back away. He's very quick on that. And that obviously could have been pretty catastrophic if he'd stayed there for a while, but he knows what he's doing, he's not gonna get caught off by that. The high ground on this map, I gotta say, is really quite mysterious. I'm never really sure why there's high ground in certain areas, but yeah, he's gonna make the most out of that as well. Peanut bombers getting launched over here. Whoa, Sparrow! I thought you were Korean. That's really funny how he's queuing up so many units over there. And I think he wants to just go for the carrier kill, honestly. Oh yeah, look at that. He's got, a bunch of heavy railguns. That's generally a good sign that he wants to do such a thing. And I don't know how much money KissLand has got. Yeah, not much. But look at Sparrow's bank. And that's why he's doing this. Right, queuing up all these units, because he can. I wonder if he's kind of trying to be funny with this game, or if he's just sort of, Oh, look at that. Actually, KissLand retiring a bunch of sand skimmers. They've been consumed. And I wonder what he's doing that for Power Reserve 4? Curious. It's just the carrier left, that's literally it. I don't think that Sparrow's gonna have too much trouble with this one. He can do whatever he wants, man. This is kind of a ridiculous number of Cs. I would go for the power reserves and try to nuke him just to be annoying. Air units can just fly around with impunity. There's nothing that's gonna damage them. He's kind of like fleet capped on air units here, which is always fun to see. He's gone full wing actually. And you may not have known this, but interceptors at full wing can actually kill off a carrier in one go like that. I have a feeling he's gonna go for that. Excuse me. I think he keeps looking around like, where's all the units? I'm like, no, there aren't any. I know it's curious, but there just aren't. He's making like little symbols on the ground now. That's pretty fun to see. so much beeping. Let's just watch this in full cinematic glory, shall we? Well, there's a Gaussian flag waving over here. You really think he's gonna get out of this? Can't tell if he surrendered, if he got killed there, but that is gonna be the game. I wonder what's gonna happen in game 2 now. Perhaps Sparrow will do something funny for us. I hope he does. Like, you know what I would do in this situation? I would go for a I'd go for a missile ship rush. Wouldn't that be funny? I don't know if you've seen that video on my channel, but like there is actually a build like that I came up with where you try to bomb out their eco with missile ships. It never works. It's like the most terrible idea ever, but it's a lot of fun to try. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, look at the size of that window. That's actually crazy. Alright, let's see. Let's see, shall we? Gonna be on the Boneyard, which is good, because this is actually a map that you're allowed to play in the tournaments. Same factions, obviously, that's the rules. Oh! No, this isn't the map you're allowed to play in the tournament. It's the Boneyard for 4, not the Boneyard for 2. How curious. I'm not sure why Sparrow keeps playing on the 4-player maps there. Must be some kind of a communication problem, you know what I mean? But hard to say. So we'll see what build he goes for this time once again, but it's probably going to be rather similar. This time the expansion is not quite so close that you can like get tons of value out of it, but you still get quite a lot. And see, this one here, this one is KissLand's choice actually. KissLand must have picked this map here. So maybe he didn't know either. KissLand going for the very early refinery mode, and that's something that I can respect. But I do wonder how well it'll work against Sparrow. Then again, he didn't exactly do his normal thing last game, did he? So you know, there could be something new here. You never know how this is going to turn out. So you'll notice there's only one salvager on RUs actually. And this next one that gets made out of this one will also be on RUs but long distance, which is actually kind of interesting. I'd probably move the production cruiser over and like drop them off over there. KissLand going for second production cruiser as well. That's pretty cool. Not even a sign of military units just yet on his end. And that seems to be the appropriate response if you look at what Sparrow is doing. I feel like Sparrow is kind of trying to play a little bit funny here, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. But now he's going for refinery mode himself, so he's actually going to go for an eco opener too. I think KissLand has actually beaten him to it though. I'm a little bit, you know, more impressed with KissLand's one. Sorry, I just got money everywhere. That's a joke. I don't. So Sparrow going to come out with a couple of sand screens and see if he can sort of harass his opponent just a bit in the early game here. Refinery mode's still on the way for Sparrow. KissLand once again going for these very early power reserves. I feel like that's kind of a wonky strategy even if you're playing as like Coalition or something. But like ConF, what do you get at power reserve 5? You can have 5 cruise missiles instead of 4 now? Like, alright. I don't know what the idea behind it is, you know? It's very curious to me. This is like the sleepiest beginning to a game I've ever seen. Both players going for early refinery mode onto like extra bases. That shouldn't have worked. That shouldn't have worked. Sparrow must be like taking a day off here. I don't even know what's going on. I'd actually like to point out that he was way slower on his eco, and yet he's actually managed to get onto 3 bases faster. I'm not really sure how that happened either. He's playing more with this coin. Ever since that menu screen in 1998, man, the sound has endured. The tech is going to be assault ship fabrication from Sparrow, which is fun. Hopefully. Yeah, this time he saw it. And see, that's the problem with the det packs, is that your opponent really has to kind of fall asleep for them to actually like kill things. By the way, did you notice what it looked like? It was like an octagon or something. I've never actually seen one from that up close before. Oh, a blast one. I hope you're happy how this turned out. Oh, he's gonna go more eco. Oh, we don't usually see this, I've got to say. Power Reserve 1 was researched. Sparrow carrier rush confirmed. I'd actually really like to see that. That'd be pretty fun. Just gonna go for precision bombers again, I guess. This is like the longest build-up phase I've ever seen, man. And KissLand gonna move out with his carrier again. I feel like I'm not sure why he plays as Conf in this case, because he seems to like the idea of powering up the mobility and getting there faster, but he's Conf. They don't go very quick. Now these sand skimmers, these guys are pretty quick, but this carrier is not very quick. You gonna go power 4? You gonna go power 4? Go power 4, yeah. The other problem, by the way, is if you're against a Galzian player and you try to do like a Conf carrier rush, they can speed up, like they can use the power and the speed if they see you coming, and they get power reserves obviously, but that's kind of what I'm assuming in this scenario. If they can get on top of you, you can't actually launch any cruise missiles, which means that your damage output is worse than every other carrier in the game. It's pretty sad. Oh, look at all these sand skimmers. This is insane. Wow. You can get a kind of a sense of the player's APM when you watch this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I mean, he's not just clicking to look cool, but like he's trying to get up on high ground all the time, you know what I mean? It's actually a lot of fun to watch. I think there's, this is perhaps not the best example, but there's tons of micro involved in these little sand skimmer engagements, and they can happen right off the gate. It's one thing that I really love about DOK. There's so much contained in that, you know what I mean? Production crews are almost certainly going to have to get sniped here, I would have thought. And Sparrow going to have an answer to the Conf carrier, but I mean, I'm sure he will. Or maybe the Conf carrier will just kind of leave, which would also be kind of convenient for him. And once these sand skimmers are cleaned up, they're just going to head over here. Actually, there is a blast drone, so there's some potential for shenaniganry to go down, but... Oh gosh, You what, mate? Okay, that was a little disappointing. Can't really excuse Sparrow for not seeing that either, but like I said, I don't know how seriously he's really taking this at this point. Invisibombers, they're just gonna go ahead and drop down there. Looks like an artifact got destroyed. Oh yeah, because KissLand was going to the wrong extraction zone. That's pretty funny. And he's gonna go straight for Honor Guard Cruiser Fabrication. Well, I mean that is a pretty good counter to these Sandskimmers here. This is weird DOK, man. I've never seen something quite like this. You can see how the eco goes down with these. I think tactical bombers would be better for that, but precision bombers are better against like the cruiser itself. You kind of have to get the the ammo capacity upgrade before the bomber really becomes like better than the coalition one. But at that point it becomes worse at stuff like that where you're going after the eco itself, and better at going after the the production cruiser that like supports the eco. You know what I mean? Yeah, precision bombers are pretty nasty things actually. And you can often do a lot of damage by going for like bombers when your opponent doesn't see it coming. You know what I mean? You see how much damage they did. That bomber should actually still have 2 more shots left. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe the thing wasn't researched by the time he launched it. I'm not sure. I really want to see these honor guards, though. I'm curious what they're going to be able to do. But Sparrow going to be quad producing railguns here, which is pretty nice. I really want to see him do a carrier attack, though. That'd be much more exciting. Oh, I'm just kind of gonna stretch my back here. I actually am very tired today. Not sure why. Boink. Boink. It's building up some veterancy there. Which is a big deal, you know. They get some actually a good value out of whatever it's called, out of veterancy. The 100 meters to weapon range there that you see, here, I'll do this next. We can hover over the menu there. So 20% to sensors is pretty good because you often use air units to get vision. But like the 100 meters to the weapon range is a really big deal because then they're able to attack often before the anti-air can even start getting shots in at them. And then, 10% speed and turn rate, yeah, that's pretty good. Not really the most important one, though. Plus 15% damage is really good when you're going after cruisers and stuff like that. And then plus 200 to aircraft hull is actually like a huge deal. So a lot of times, like, the veterancy on units doesn't actually really matter too much. Oh, Sparrow 1. Sorry, I didn't notice that. But, a lot of times the veterancy on units doesn't really matter too much. Like in the railgun, yeah, it makes a difference, but not really a very big one. But, occasionally there are like these veterancy upgrades that are like, oh wow, that's really important. You know what I mean? So you never want to, like missile ships for example, once they get to the highest veterancy they fire 2 shots instead of 1, like unless you get the upgrade, which is totally broken, but that's a different story. So that's veterancy for you. Not really sure what to say about that game. It seemed like Sparrow was just kind of not really evenly matched at all here. Just kind of had a pretty fun time, which was a little bit less fun to see, but we're still fine with that. Honestly, I'm really glad whenever anyone is playing in these tournaments. I'm totally fine with it. So never worry if you're going to be like the KissLand in this scenario. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it at all. I enjoyed it at any rate. I hope you did too. And I'll catch you again tomorrow, where we will begin with the semifinals. Till then, goodbye.